Welcome everybody to a very special episode. This is Cultured Gamer's top 10 games of all time. But here's the difference. I know ball. Fun fact, I'm actually recording this video on the Wednesday the video goes live. I have had to deal with this top 10 list for the past week now, just thinking about what games I want in certain positions, what games are even up there for nominations for me. It took me this long to finally record the video because, again, there were so many great games that I've played throughout my lifetime, and this is across all time. Let me know if you guys would rather do a video later on of maybe the top 10 most modern games of all time. Maybe I can do one of those as well. And I took it upon myself as a gamer to kind of look at the list and really focus on what games I think are the top 10 games of all time in my opinion. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Taking up the number 10 spot, The Witcher 3. What an incredible experience, let alone a game of itself. With a vast open world, amazing voice acting, great story, awesome side quest, and so much content in a game that's undeniably, even now, still one of the most content-filled games I've ever played in my entire life. I beat that game and 100%ed it, and it took me over a year to finish that game. The game's gameplay is a little, it's okay. As far as gameplay goes, the combat system's okay. There's a nice flow to it. It's good. I wouldn't say it's the best gameplay I've ever played, but the story and the art direction they went with is honestly what really takes it, in my opinion. For number 9, we have Enter the Gungeon. Have you guys ever told yourself, man, I wish I had a pillow and it shot bullets? Or, man, I wish I had like this crazy item and it shot bullets. Well, that's Enter the Gungeon with a wide arsenal, huge arsenal of guns that you can pick up that all have these crazy wonky mechanics to them where like there's a gun that shoots letters at people and it's amazingly funny. Story, okay, yeah, you got me there. Is there really a deep story? Not really. It's pretty common, it's pretty basic. But what it makes up for is the gameplay. Amazing gameplay, roguelike game. The dodging system works great, but overall it's one of my favorite roguelites to play around with. It's super fun. I highly recommend you guys check out Devolver Digital as a developing company. These guys have released some of the most amazing games. Here's just a list of games that they have produced, and they're all super fun. Very fantastic. This company, I can tell, publishes only the best, the biggest, the boldest, and seriously guys, they show it. Moving up into number 8 spot, here's an RPG for you guys. If you guys have never heard of it either, I highly recommend it. It is on Nintendo Switch Network as well. This is Golden Sun. Golden Sun is an RPG that honestly blew my mind as a kid. From striking visuals, an amazing soundtrack, and an awesome story. This game has so much stuff to offer for anyone out there. When this game came out, the thing that took me over was the normal fight scene is called Isaac's Theme, and it sounds awesome. It gets my feelings all bunched up and just ready to strike, and it's awesome. Great soundtrack. The visuals, amazing. This game does such an amazing job of visuals. These over-the-top huge explosions, giant summons. It's so good. The gameplay system too, really remarkably well done. They have a Jin system, and what the Jin do is essentially you can put different Jin on different characters that you have, and what that does is it either unlocks extra abilities to use, different abilities they can use, or improved abilities they have. You can increase their stats using different Jin and everything in between. It honestly offers some of the best building mechanics in an RPG that I've ever played. It's one of my favorite. I highly recommend it. Don't sleep on it. Golden Sun is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. Hence why it's probably on the top 10 list. Number 7, and this took my From Software spot. This is Sekiro. I have played every From Software game, and that goes from Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, and everything in between, even Armored Cores. I analyzed every single game that they have released that I have played, and honestly, it came down to Sekiro wins every single time. From a banging soundtrack to amazing gameplay and a story that's such a beautiful story. First off, just going to gameplay alone, clashing swords is so much fun versus like Dark Souls where you're dodging stuff or Bloodborne where it's full combat all the way. This game took those strikes and you feel them. They put a lot of time and effort into how this game plays. And honestly, one of the best games I've ever played. Yeah, you can go on full frontal assaults and go full power into anybody, but sometimes you gotta step back and you just need to block for a little bit. Build up the parry and then striking back at the enemy. The story, a great redemption arc story. I really enjoyed it. And the soundtrack, oh my goodness. Sound effects alone won this game for me, to be honest. This game is awesome. If you have never played Sekiro, I highly recommend you go back and play through it. It is such a remarkably told story. Remarkable gameplay. Honestly, there's a reason why it's on my top list. And to beat all the other From Software games, Elden Ring, there are Elden Ring fanboys that will die on the hill that Elden Ring is the best game ever. There are people that will say Bloodborne is the best game ever made from Software. But me, Sekiro wins that spot. Moving up into number 6, Resident Evil 4. Now, across the entire span of Resident Evil, this is the one that won it for me. Specifically, I am talking about the 2005 version. The remake, while amazing, I have to give respect to the original one, just because there's stuff that they removed in the newer remake that I didn't have any problems with. I'm glad they did remove the running away from Giant Salazar statue, but Resident Evil 4 had to walk so remake could run. And even then, the original 2005 one was very well made. Like, it played really, really well. I mean, huge high ratings across the board. The gameplay was great. The story was amazing. And everything about it sang to me, Zach, that Resident Evil was all action-based. There was no horror. I was pretty scared of some of those parasites in that game, man. The swinging axe guy, I mean, that thing was terrifying. The thing that could one-shot you and just eat your head off, the chainsaw scene. I mean, come on, guys. That game was so gory, but it was amazing. I actually remember when we got that game too. We traded in some video games that we had at a GameStop back in the day, and I remember coming home with that game. I remember what restaurant we went to. I remember what I ordered. I remember reading the Game Informer I had in my hands for that game on the way home. And that's crazy. That's the thing that nostalgia does to you. It's crazy about that. But Resident Evil 4 is my number 6 game of all time. Now we move into the top 5. Now, the top 5. These are the best of the best of the best. These are the games I had to fight for. These are the games I had to sit and cry and figure out who I wanted, who I didn't want, and these are the games that won. Number 5 actually pushed number 5 down. I kid you not. Originally, Resident Evil 4 was my number 5 spot. However, a game came out last year, won Game of the Year, and took over my number 5 spot, pushing everything else down. Now, if you know the game already, you know the game. Expedition 33. Guys, from an amazing soundtrack, amazing story. Let's be honest, the gameplay was good. It wasn't anything extravagant. It wasn't anything mind-blowingly new. But the story was such a beautiful story. The music won me completely. In the first 10 minutes, you already had me crying. You already had me emotionally invested into a game that I had no previous thoughts about. Was this game any good? Were people rating it really high? I had no idea. I saw it on Game Pass, downloaded it, and was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. Expedition 33 is a game that you absolutely need to play. Oh, turn-based games are trash. No, that comment is trash. Your sports game's trash. There.
Shameless plug, but I made a video talking about Expedition 33 last week. You should watch it.
But Expedition 33 completely won me over. Now, full disclosure information, top 5, 3 of them are RPGs. Just full heads up. I'm letting you guys know now. I am an RPG fiend, so RPGs win. Moving on to my number 4 spot. This one's gonna shock many people. Borderlands 2. Now, here's backstory about me. I actually do not buy DLC for any games anywhere. Either the DLC comes out 6 months later and I'm already moved on, I'm already on another game, or it's extravagantly expensive and I'll never get to it. And I mean on release day. DLC on release days. Now, that being said, I bought every single Borderlands released DLC on release day. I did not miss a single one. And it was something about Borderlands 2. It perfected the FPS looting shooter. It perfected it for me. Just the trailer alone, just the opening, was a banger soundtrack. You should check it out, by the way. It's probably playing right now. Awesome gameplay, awesome mechanics, awesome story. Honestly, it was one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. And now, again, Borderlands 2 was what I had to put up there really, really high. Mainly because I don't buy DLC. Now, that's not the only reason it won. I don't buy DLC on release day. I just don't do it. And for me to take my hard-earned money and go, dang, I'll buy each one of these on release day, because they didn't all come out at the same time. Each one was an expansion that improved the game in so many ways. It was such a remarkably well done game. The developer is actually local to where I live, so I kind of want to see if I can go to their offices one day. Maybe get enough likes on this video.
This ain't no place for no better man.
Guys, we're here. We're in the top 3. And my number 3rd spot goes to the best Final Fantasy game of all time. The game that had a plethora of characters, remarkably told story, a villain that wins 60% through the game, and then you have to beat him after he's already won and destroy the world. Of course, I'm talking about Final Fantasy VI. Or if you're a retro gamer, you're talking about Final Fantasy III. But Final Fantasy VI had one of the best stories of any game I've ever played across the Final Fantasy universe. And that's coming from high strides. 7, I hear, is amazing. 7 is on everybody's Final Fantasy top 10 list all the time, every single time. I think it's good. I'm not saying Final Fantasy 7's bad. I'm just saying 6 was better. I mean, it had a whole cast of characters to pick from, and each one, their story was so involving, and Square didn't hold back on any of these characters. These guys were fleshed out. These guys all had deep backstories, from brothers separated, brought back together, working together again, to love interest here and there, to the main character being an Esper. Final Fantasy VI was one of my most played games when I was a kid. I probably 100% of that game twice now in my entire life, which I say I played the most. To only play through twice doesn't sound like a lot, but that game is huge. That game takes forever to 100%, by the way. Now, funny enough, my runner-up for Final Fantasy was actually not even 7, it was 4. Final Fantasy 4 technically would have won if 6 hadn't have been better. And yes, to all your Final Fantasy fans out there, 7 is probably my number 3rd spot of all Final Fantasies of all time. Maybe we'll do a list of that too. Now, my number 2 spot. Guys, this is getting juicy. If you guys are enjoying this, remember to like the video, comment as well, and subscribe if you're new here. And my number 2 spot, Pokemon Ruby, specifically Pokemon Ruby. Now, I could have done a whole franchise thing. I could have said, who's this, who's that? But Pokemon Ruby was my favorite Pokemon game of all time. And that's a game even still today, I'll go back and still play through. It had some of the best Pokemon ever released in an entire series. Now, that's a big, bold statement because Pokemon Black and White also had really, really good bonds, and that would probably be my runner-up next to Platinum. It would be a pretty close vote if it was Platinum or Black versus Pokemon Ruby. Pokemon Ruby's soundtrack. We call it the trumpet OST for a reason. I mean, there's trumpets that play in everything across this entire game. Honestly, it like changed my world. I loved Pokemon Ruby. It was such a good game. The villains were great. The story was great. The gameplay was Pokemon. All right, cool. Granted, I get that. All right, cool. But Pokemon Ruby specifically, that red cartridge sang to me. Even now, when we go to conventions and I see it, I still feel something in my heart about seeing that game. Because I remember buying it, we got it at a Toys R Us when I was a kid. And that's something, a whole nother nostalgic thing I don't even want to go down yet. But Pokemon Ruby is my number 2 game of all time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have been through 9 total games so far. Whether you agree with the list or not, let me know. Honestly, let me know. Because I'm curious what y'all's top 10 games of all time are. But really think about it. Don't just blurt out the first game that comes to your mind. Really, really think about it. And I want you guys to know, I have played a plethora of games. And this is all-time list. I have played so many games. I have had so many games that honestly could have been on this list that just didn't make it for some reason. And let's do a little bit of an honorable mention for those games. Ori and the Blind Forest was up there. Really solid platformer. One of my favorite modern platformers of all time. Metroid Fusion and Super Metroid were both up there. Metroid Fusion probably would have won, but there was games I felt way more attachment with on this list. Payday 2 was actually on my list. I played the heck out of Payday 2. You're just a guy who can heist stuff. Like, that is such a cool concept to me. Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 2 were both on my list. Modern Warfare 2 would have won the original one. Rust 1v1 me, bro. That's all you gotta say about Modern Warfare 2. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I wanted a Mario game up here. Mario Galaxy was also the other one. I wanted a Mario game up there. I just didn't put one. I've always said there's better games than Mario out there. And Mario is one of those games where I think it needs to walk before it can run. So Thousand Year Door exists. So like other games could have done better. Like Bug Fables did better. The runner-up for that one, by the way, would have been Mario Galaxy. I had a lot more fun with that one. Sunshine would have been there, but Galaxy I felt way more connection with. Toy Story 3 was on the list. Guys, if you've never played Toy Story 3, it is a really, really good platformer. An awesome gameplay too. Like, they fleshed that game out really well. Probably one of the best movie adaptation games I've ever played. Phantasy Star Online 1 and 2 was actually on my list. I actually still play that game to this day. On my GameCube, by the way, that is the game I play the most. Pikmin 2, I have a huge story. I actually won an essay contest because of a Pikmin 2 story I wrote. How my mom had gotten it for me and everything, you know, at home. Ghost of Tsushima was on my list. Guys, that game broke me inside. That game made me cry. That game made me feel something inside, and it was on the list. I mean, what else do you need to say? Dying Light was on my list. A remarkable zombie game. One of the best modern zombie games I've ever played. Left 4 Dead 2 was on my list. Arcade-like shooter zombie game. What's not to love? Who didn't play Left 4 Dead 2 and put so many hours into as a kid? For my Zelda game, I had Minish Cap and then I had Wind Waker. I didn't know who to pick, but ultimately both of them just kind of lost anyways to the top 10 that I had. And then one final one just to mention, Gauntlet Dark Legacy, great arcade game made by Midway. It's amazing. If you've never played it before, I highly recommend it. If you ever go to an arcade and you see it, play through it, it's super fun. And now we move on to the number 1 game of all time. My number 1 game of all time, the game with my favorite story, my favorite gameplay, my favorite visuals of all time. Banjo and Kazooie, everybody. I mean, talk about a game that just like, honestly, wins me. And nostalgically speaking, it's probably good to me just because of nostalgia. Is it actually a good game? Probably not to other people, but to me, Oh my goodness. Banjo-Kazooie has some of the best fleshed out platforming that I've ever played. The worlds were so good. The soundtrack, by the way, we found this out. Every soundtrack is technically the same tempo, just different regions. For example, the pirate level. Here's the soundtrack. And transitioning to the Egyptian level, here's the soundtrack. A remarkable, remarkable game. I absolutely love Banjo-Kazooie. It's still, and I mean, it was like one of my favorite tattoos to get on my entire body. This game is something that I will die on the hill of being the best game ever made across all platforms. And I would argue, and I'll die on the hill about this too, Banjo-Kazooie better than Super Mario 64. And you know what? Let the comments light on fire. Just keyboard warriors unite and just slam me for it. I don't care. What do you guys think about the list? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you have a top 10 list? Also let me know. I'm a Culture Gamer, and now you are too.